Let's talk about gun control in the United States of America. There's 320 million people in the United States of America, 500 million guns. There is way more guns than people. And 90% of these weapons are semi-autos. Semi-auto does not mean fully automatic. It just means that one trigger pull results in one bullet. Now, if politicians get what they want and semi-autos are banned, that means 90% of guns will be banned. This, I guarantee, banning 90% of all guns will result in a civil war. Probably the biggest civil war ever seen. If that wasn't reason enough to not ban semi-automatic guns, listen to this. Even if we did a buyback program, it would put us trillions of dollars more into debt. We're already $20 trillion in debt. A buyback program of that magnitude would destroy this country. Also, the cost of confiscating 500 million guns would be astronomical. And even if we did a buyback program and we're like, screw it, let's go trillions of dollars into debt, it still won't work. It won't do anything of good. In fact, it'll just make things worse. Here's how. Just like any time you do a gun buyback program, only a fraction of the percentage turn in their guns, including Australia, even though they had a mandatory gun buyback program. Now, the reason why they were able to get 25% and not less is because they have a hell of a lot less people over there and a hell of a lot less guns to confiscate, so making confiscation a lot more possible. Guess what? They have 3 million guns. America has 500 million. Yes, Australia may be able to get 25% of the guns, but you couldn't do that in America. There's too many guns to confiscate. But let's just be charitable and say 25% of the guns are off the streets. Well, you just screwed up, because now good guys can't own guns. Only criminals can. Not to mention you made all the good guys who owned guns into criminals. Well, there's two things that's going to happen. The good guys are going to keep their guns, and they're just going to be criminals forever. And they're possibly going to start a civil war. Countless would die, and it's not a good thing. And the second thing, a lot of them will be sold onto the black market to make their money back. And a lot of these 375 million guns will find themselves in the hands of criminals, shooters, burglars, and there's no more good guys with guns that will protect your businesses and homes. In other words, only the bad guys will have guns. Please understand what that actually means. Up to 375 million guns in the hands of criminals. That is disastrous. That's what gun control does. That's all gun banning does. It takes the guns out of the hands of good guys and puts them in the hands of bad guys. Now, you probably heard good things about the Australia gun ban. That's all propaganda. Yes, after the gun ban in Australia, the gun crime was going down. But it was already plummeting at an identical rate before the gun ban. So nothing changed before or after the gun ban. Now, you know that the gun ban resulted in everybody in Australia to be disarmed, while many bad guys and crooks still had firearms, and they were using them for burglaries and crime. The Australian gun ban proved that all gun banning does is take the guns out of the hands of good guys and puts them in the hands of bad guys. Here are some random gun stats. 1997 was in the middle of the assault weapons ban that banned all assault rifles, which means AK-47s and AR-15s, Tech-9s, and etc., and all magazines above a 30-round capacity. Since we unbanned and brought back assault rifles and 30-round magazines, crime rate with guns has dropped by 51%. So these so-called assault rifles actually save lives. A lot of lives. 51% the crime rate dropped since we brought back the assault rifles. That's absolutely incredible. If left-wingers were right and gun crime was a result of guns like that, then the crime rate wouldn't have dropped by 51%. It would have went up by 50%. If that wasn't damning enough, listen to this. Rifles kill less than knives in this country. Oh, not enough? Listen to this. Now, there's 300,000 violent crimes every single year with firearms. That sounds like a lot until you find out there's 700,000 to 3 million lives saved with firearms. and crimes prevented with firearms every single year in America. That's a lot more lives saved with firearms than taken away. And these are CDC facts from the government. Not convinced yet? I got more. The average number of people killed in mass shootings when stopped by police is 14.29. The average number of people killed in a mass shooting when stopped by a civilian is 2.33. Again, all the sources are in the description box. Oh, I'm not done. People like to say there's 91 gun violence deaths in a day in America. Most of that is suicides. You cut out the suicides, you're only left with 32 gun homicides a day in America. Gun homicides doesn't mean murder. It just means someone died with a firearm. This number includes self-defense cases. You remove the self-defense cases, you are left with an actual gun murders. There is 15 gun murders a day in America. Compare that to abortions, which killed 1,700 people a day in 2014, or smoking that kills 1,300 people a day. What's worse, 15 gun deaths a day, or 1,300 smoking deaths a day? But you don't see left-wingers trying to ban smoking. That's ridiculous, isn't it? They care about freedom when it comes to that, but they don't care about the freedom to own firearms. So ridiculous. This is Joe Biden. In 1990, he introduced the Gun-Free School Zones Act of 1990. Since then, 92% of large mass shootings have happened in gun-free zones. In the 20th century, there was an estimated 9 million murders committed by private citizens. 9 million murders committed by private citizens. In the same period, corrupt governments committed somewhere on the order of 200 million acts of democide. That's when the government kills its own people. Yet governments can have nukes, and citizens can't even have assault rifles. Okay, rant over. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe to me, donate to me, and all that good stuff. Links in the description box. Also, all the sources are in the description box. Enjoy.